Okay, I'm turning the recording on. I don't know if you guys know, but Zoom is acting a little weird since so many people are teleconferencing right now from home. And I don't know that that's the only reason, but that's the one that makes the most sense to me, is that Zoom acts a little weird. And maybe I need to do another update or something like that. I've never had to approve people into a Zoom, but I'll probably keep my eyes this way a little bit just in case as other people hop on here. I'm going to hop right into what I have to say tonight because I had something pretty cool to share with you guys. There's another person trying to come on. I think maybe I'll go ahead and play the video that I was going to wait. It's just a short video, maybe 10 minutes long. It's a video of me talking years ago. You'll be able to tell it was years ago. Someone messaged me earlier today asking me for the video. They're like, I used to use it all the time and I can't find it. And I basically, I knew which video she was talking about. I figured I had taken it down at some point due to something I said that was non-compliant. There's no telling. And I was like, I was thinking of all the things that are on my plate today. I can't stop it. Sometimes I can stop everything I'm doing and just hunt all through YouTube. So I gave her a few pointers about, you might try this, this, or this, and let her go look for it because she needed it. And she came back with me, got back with me like a few hours ago and said, I found it. And it wasn't even the video that I thought, but it was a really good video. And so I thought, I think I want to show that to you guys tonight because I want to share a couple of stories that are pivotal in my Plexus journey. A couple of testimonies that are pivotal in my Plexus journey. It looks like it's slowing down people trying to be approved. So instead of watching the video, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the stories first. I set you up for a video and then I said, just kidding, right? I juked you. So here is one story that I wanted to share with you. I don't remember the first time I met. I don't know if the first time I think I met Becky Hutcherson was actually the first time I met her or not. I may have, there's a possibility that I met her previous to the time that I'm about to tell you, but I can remember, I know one thing, she came up to give a testimony about what Plexus was doing for her. And I know I had been training on the fact that I believed that there was a connection between the gut and the brain. And at the time, I was being really ultra sensitive to not call something by the wrong category. Like, for example, I wanted to say, you know, autism and all things that look like that, but I didn't know how to I was like, I don't know if that, is that considered neurological? Is that psychological? Like, I had no experience or political correct experience with understanding how you could say, I think all those things. For real, guys. That's what I would say. I can remember being at the embassy suites doing a training and saying, you know, based on my research alone, I kind of think that it wasn't called the triplex at the time. Actually, when Jetty became a board member, the first board meeting that he sat in on, they asked him, hey, you're the new guy. Do you have any pointers you'd like for us to just start with your, basically you coming on board? Is there anything that you'd like to see done? And he said, you know, my wife, she really promotes these 3 products together and it seems to do wonders for people. And he said, I think if you package those together, it'd be a real winner. Well, chicken dinner, it's our #1 combo now and has been ever since the time they actually put it out. And if you guys remember, we were doing prayer circles around things, and I'll never forget where we were. Well, I'll never forget what I was looking at. There's no telling. We were at a resort and it was tropical. I want to say it was Hawaii, but it could have been Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just remember I was standing on a balcony and I'm looking at a palm tree and somebody messaged me and said, did you see they came out with your combo and called it its own name? And they said the cool part about it, because there was a group of us that were circling it in prayer. We were literally calling it a prayer circle. And when they didn't know that back at corporate, but when they came out with it, it was called the triplex, and it had a big circle. I don't know why they put the three products and they put it inside a circle. So we thought that was super cool, kind of a throwback to, hey, God is in on this plan, right? So the triplex, I believed back from the very beginning that if you could promote your business from a perspective of overall health and not just weight loss, which was pretty much the trend back then, that I just felt like that's where it was at. In fact, I would be at the time, I don't talk like this very often anymore because I don't know how well it's received, but at the time I used to say stuff in the Jewel page before there was a Diamond page, like, you ought to have your butt kicked if all you talk about is weight loss. There are people out there dying of autoimmune disorders, and if you're all like, come get skinny, you can eat donuts and take this stuff. And I'm like, we need to have our butts kicked if we're not representing if you're not representing the fullness of what there is for people. Now, one of the reasons I've kind of like backed away from that harsh of language, or that harsh of like, what's wrong with you people? One of the reasons I did is because I also noticed that some teams have a great way of using the weight loss as a hook, and then they educate gut health. Now, that wasn't going on at all at the time when I was shaming people. I'm just being honest. That was not happening at that time. People were like, it was all about weight loss. It was like slim and accelerator. That was it. Now, my passion, for as many of you may or may not know, I don't know, really comes from the fact that I believe that my family, I think we've broken it now. Like, if it was a curse, or I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's spiritual or if it's just simply physical, or health-wise, But I believe my family has broken the curse to be plagued with a multitude of autoimmune disorders. And I, at the time, and I still kind of believe that it's a possibility that my brother's death was very directly linked to autoimmune reaction. Okay. He was only 28 years old, and he was a picture of health from a medical, Western medicine perspective. So my passion came from a very real place, still does. I will say, though, the two stories I want to share with you. One is about, I was at a training, and Becky Hutcherson got up and gave a testimony. And when she did, I was like, this is what I've been saying. Like, she was talking about progress in her son. Now, keep in mind, Becky's been around almost as long as I have. And so to get this message from her today just made my heart just go, ugh, like, it's so sweet. Okay. She sent me a picture. I got her permission to share this. She sent me a picture of her son, JJ. Okay. And that says class of 2020. She also sent me a picture of some sort of an identification that was called Operation Safe Child, where he had some sort of ID, and it shows his classification in 2002 that he had Asperger's. She's showing me like the proof that he was diagnosed with that, right? Okay, I'm not gonna like hold that up there for a long time. I don't know what kind of information's on there. So, okay. This is the message that she wrote to me. This week was supposed to be, now keep in mind, this is 8 years ago that she and I started this journey around the same time. This week was supposed to be JJ's high school graduation. It's almost appropriate that his graduation will be happening differently, as it was never supposed to happen at all. When I met you, JJ was autistic. And then she put in all capital letters, was. He could not function on his own, couldn't speak clearly, couldn't control himself or even stand up straight. But you had an idea at that point, not much more than a pull on your spirit that was just beginning to awaken. The idea that gut health could affect everything, even autism. I'm writing tonight to thank you for boldly, I guess she wrote it last night and I saw it this morning, for boldly following that pull, for sharing this idea. Because for us, it really did change everything. Today, JJ is a fully capable, intelligent, and compassionate man. He loves Jesus, his family, and serving others. JJ is graduating high school. I'm not sure when the ceremony will be, but he is graduating, which, for a kid that was told he'd never go beyond kindergarten, is nothing short of a miracle. A miracle God used you to manifest. So I said, well, now I'm bawling. And then I started talking to her about the call tonight. And she said, by the way, even though testing is not required in Texas, JJ still took the GED and got 85%. He now works full-time with Joey in our pest control business. That's her husband. Oh, I've got people trying to get on the call. Hang on. And I think to myself, if I'm just being honest with you guys, if that was the only story that I had in my hip pocket, I'd be in advance of most Western medicine, because most Western medicine doesn't attempt to try to undo the damage that we know is called autism. Okay, so we can't talk about this wide open on our Facebook walls, but my plan tonight is to hatch an egg inside your heart. If your personality won't allow you to go there for the business, like go all in, if your personality is somehow crippled in that area, and I'm not calling it like you're crippled, but you see what I'm saying? Like if there's some part of you that's like, I want to go all in, but I can't, it's not important enough for me to have a paycheck to get outside my comfort zone. I used to do a series where every Monday I would post a picture with an eraser and a notebook, and it would say, tell me what your story was like if you erased Plexus from your life. The finances or the health, either way, and people would share their stories. I had that series going on for months. And for me, the stories that people would tell, most of them were people who are part of my story somehow. For example, linked to the fact that either I said yes to Plexus, so for example, they're on my team, or many of them are people who maybe were sponsored by someone else. I'm going to say this loosely and you can gather as much from it as you want, but maybe they were sponsored by someone else, like a sideline team, like not on my team, but a video that I put out made them say, I'm giving this everything, or I'm going to try the products full out, or I'm going to try the business full out. And they would share their stories. And the reason I share it to you like that, because I risk the chance of sounding like I'm bragging, like, look. But here's the thing. If you could just, and many of you may already, but if you could just have a glimmer of that feeling in your heart for just 10 seconds of what it feels like to get messages like that, it's an all the time thing when you go in all the way. When you go all the way in, those kind of messages are not hiding from you. They're there. People thanking you because you were brave enough to jump in and tell the truth. So I'm going to share this video with you guys. Yes, me too, girl. I'm going to share the video with you guys that I did, like I said, years ago, that I think will resonate with you. It's a short video. Hang on a sec. Sorry, hang on. Here it is.
And so I'm going to do a little video tonight about something that plagues a lot of us in this business. And I guess I'll title it Regret. Basically what I want to talk about is, how many times do you think, ooh, I should tell this person, I should tell that person about the products, about the business, and then you chicken out or you think about it too much. And actually, by the time you get to the end of the thought, you've already talked yourself out of it. And I was thinking about, how many times in my life I've done something that was outside my comfort zone, and how many times after I did something outside my comfort zone that I looked back and had regret. And I can't think of any. I mean, the nauseating feeling always comes before, not ever after. It's never in the form of regret. You get nauseated because the person intimidates you. You get nauseated because what if they tell you no? You get nauseated because a million reasons that we talk ourselves out of doing things that we know that we should do. But after you have done it, you never look back and think, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have told that lady whose little girl who has type 1 diabetes about Plexus Slim. I shouldn't have done that. You always think, well, I hope that was a seed well planted. And if not, then I learned that, hey, guess what? I survived. I survived telling someone something that normally would nauseate me. It's all a learning process. This business has been huge for me on a personal level, above and beyond what it has been for me on a business level, or even in on the level of the products. It's been huge for me, just personally, spiritually, to help me grow, because I'm such a pleaser. I want people to like me. I don't want to say anything that will make someone uncomfortable. I don't want someone to think I'm trying to sell them something. But here's the thing, and this is where I am now. And until you can get to this point in your heart, borrow some of my bizarre way of looking at things. I look at this like, I truly do now. I look at this like, every single person who I don't share this with, I'm cheating them. I now hear testimonies that make me cry. I hear testimonies in the making. I know of several testimonies in the making right now that, had I chickened out and had I panicked and decided not to tell someone, or decided not to post on Facebook about it, that I just don't look back with regret on those things. Those things are life-changing for people. These products change people's lives. That the business changes people's lives. I mean, I was thinking the other day, the cool thing about our business is we offer an answer for two of the biggest burdens that life has to offer: health problems and finances. I know so many people who had the shackles of a health problem and no longer have that. And I also have so many friends and family now who had, the burden of financial problems, and they don't have that anymore either. And you're just free to do so much more for other people, even when you're not burdened down yourself. I mean, it's an incredible business. It's an incredible company. The products are amazing. They change people's lives. I shared the other day that after Super Saturday, our local team came back to Ardmore, where we live, and we had Super Saturday Night, which was a party that was sponsored by Jetty and myself and some other leading ambassadors in our organization. And they all happened to be, I was really tired that day. I had spoken at Super Saturday, and I was stressed out before I spoke. I was sort of freaking out about speaking to people, and especially the big crowd that we had. And so by the time we were driving home, I was exhausted, wasted all my adrenaline already, and now I still have a party to go to. And we got to the party, and it occurred to me at that party that everyone in that room was in my downline somehow. And we had one person after another get up and give a health testimony, and then we had several people get up and give financial testimonies, and they were life-changing testimonies, like completely life-changing. And I didn't even know most of the people that were in that room, but it occurred to me in the middle of the evening. It was like God was impressing upon me that had I talked myself out of it in the beginning, I almost talked myself out of ever talking about Plexus on Facebook. I mean, so close. It was so close to just deciding that this is not something I want to do. I'm worried about my photography business, basically. What if people think I'm trying to sell something? What if people think, fill in the blank? You know all the blanks. You know how to fill in the blanks. And it was like God was showing me a big eraser, huge eraser, just erasing all of those health testimonies in that room, all those financial testimonies, taking all of those people to wherever they were 2 years ago before I started with Plexus. Erase back for 2 years and give them back all their diseases and all of their debt. And it was huge for me. It wasn't about me, but for me, for God to show me, look what your obedience did. And I shared on a call the other night that when you remove yourself from the center of what you're doing, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. When you remove yourself and your own concerns about yourself from the center of what you're doing, and you don't worry that, what are people going to think about me? What are people's opinions of me going to be once they realize that, I'm making great money now? What are people's opinions going to be about me because I'm involved with a network marketing company? So on and so on and so on. That's me. And when you quit worrying about me, that's when the magic happens. When you start making it about other people. It seems like that's a flip, because in the beginning I remember thinking, oh, if I start selling this stuff, that's about me. That's about my finances. But that's not the way it is. It's getting the focus off of you when you start trying to help others, and you put helping others in front of what people are going to think about you. That was huge for me. A big eraser. Just imagine had you never decided to take this leap. Imagine had the person that told you about it chickened out. You could erase your own testimony. You could erase the testimony of a child that lives in your house. I mean, I know that that's true for so many people. And so this is an amazing company. There's nothing about the company and nothing about the compensation plan that is anything except for things you want to boast about. You want to brag about them. I mean, our products are awesome. Our compensation plan's awesome. We don't have to falsify anything when we're telling people something, because everything's mutually beneficial to everyone. When you're answering questions, you can answer with your conscience being proud of yourself, of the fact that everything that you tell people, you can tell them the truth. You don't have to hide anything or hope they don't figure out this before they sign up or whatever. Everything about the company is upfront and honest, and I'm super proud to be part of this network marketing company. And I hope that you are too. And I hope that if you have to overcome a fear, just ask God to help you. Say, God, I'm scared, I'm worried, whatever. I don't know if I should approach this person. And I always just remember in the back of my mind, had this company been around 6 years ago when my brother was sick, and someone had been scared to tell me about something because they were afraid that I would think that they were selling something, try to sell something, or trying to, you know, financially benefit off of my sorrow or whatever. If that's the case, that person is not a friend to me. If they had hidden it from me because of something me that they were concerned about. So I hope this hits home with some of you guys, and I hope that it helps you overcome maybe some obstacles that are affecting your business in some way. Turn it outwards. Turn the focus to other people. It'll make a huge difference in your business. It'll make a huge difference in the approach to your business.
Okay. So I'm going to share one more testimony with you that's from early in my career that was really encouraging. The testimony is the lady who used to do my hair. She did a really great job back then. I'm just kidding. I was looking at that haircut going, man, I need my hair to look like that again. I can't wait to get back into my hairdresser. Okay, no, just kidding. The other testimony, I wrote about it on my Facebook the other day. I've been very sentimental or something since this quarantine. I don't know what it's doing to me. It's bringing back all these sweet, got somebody trying to get in the meeting here, sweet memories, and I don't know why. I don't know why I don't think about them often. I stumbled across a grocery bag, and I'm talking a grocery bag that is full of letters that you get in the mail. Every single time I would get a letter in the mail, this doesn't count the messages on Messenger. I'm talking about mail. I started putting them in one spot, and next thing you know, the spot grew into a grocery bag, and then I started trying to put them in a scrapbook, and I realized it was going to take up too many scrapbooks. This is how many people have sent me notes in the mail. And here's the story of one of them. Early in my career, I went into a group about a specific childhood disease. I didn't want to write this on my wall, but it was juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. Can you believe that we have a disease called that is for little children? It's an arthritis thing, right? That's intense to think that exists. Okay. I announced what I knew, and I got kicked out. I know. I was a rookie. I didn't realize how badly feathers get ruffled. I think I shared this with you guys recently, but I'm sharing it again. I didn't realize how badly feathers get ruffled when people have accepted their disease identity. We'll talk about that in a second if you guys want to. But one lady followed me out of that group. Her daughter had been only recently diagnosed, and she had not yet fallen into the brainwash trap. Her little daughter's knees were swollen to the size of a full-grown man. Her doctor had basically told her she would be getting injections to suppress her immune system for the rest of her life. With one $30 product I suggested, all her symptoms went away without any injections, and her sweet girl went back to life as usual. I want to say she was 9. I think she was 9. Her grandpa even sent me a letter thanking me for giving their cartwheel-turning sweetie back to them. Yeah, I'm bragging, and as for announcing in that group, rookie move, agreed, but I didn't think that little girl, who's probably officially an adult now, cares about my lack of correctness. This is only one such story. I have an entire grocery bag completely full of letters received in the mail, similar to the one from this grandpa. I started making a scrapbook out of only thank you letters and quickly realized it was going to take too many scrapbooks. Also, I used to care if people thought I was obnoxious, but with what we are living right now, and so much of that involving immune systems, I basically don't give a you-know-what. And then I said, happy Easter weekend, everyone. I pray the treasure that you've been hunting your whole life jumps out at you this weekend, and I pray you're smart enough to recognize it when that happens. Now, a couple things I want to hit on from here. My first instinct when I got kicked out of a group was, I didn't know that could happen. never dreamed that that would happen to someone. And I was a rookie to Facebook kind of in those ways. And I remember being like, how rude, and embarrassed, very embarrassed, because I had gone in there and said, hey, has anybody in here ever tried like antifungals? Or has anybody in here ever tried to approach what's wrong with you by going about it a different way than steroids? Because, and for whatever reason, this mom hadn't bought into the brainwash yet, which I'm just going to say the brainwash is once you have it, it's progressive and you can never undo it. And I did not believe that. I still do not believe that. They say the same thing about autism. They say the same thing about most autoimmune disorders. And I'm just going to tell you what I just discussed with my neighbor. I've said this on other Zooms, but God's leading me to say it again tonight. I don't believe that cancer is always cancer. I've got a running track record going on right now that I know God's just leading me down this road of, I'm not giving people medical advice. Don't worry about that. At least I'm not that rookie. And instead, what I'll do is when I see somebody post about cancer, I say, hey, from me to you, just my heart to yours, I just want to share something with you that I've learned recently, and I don't understand the fullness of it, but I believe, like from the bottom of my heart, that if the medical community is being legit about cancer, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they are, I believe that there may be something that shows up on a scan, that same white, that looks like cancer, and they diagnose as cancer, but might be a fungus or a parasite. Do you think you, or if it's a loved one of theirs, your sister or whoever, is brave enough to ask for a second opinion and ask their doctor to test them for a fungal infection? Y'all, I'm batting 1,000. There's only been one that came back and really never did go get the second opinion. All of the other ones so far, and we're only in the under 10 so far, have come back now and told me, you're not going to believe this. And now it doesn't feel that way anymore. It doesn't feel like I'm not going to believe it, because now I anticipate it. You're not going to believe this, but they came back, and turns out, had they gotten on chemo, then it would have been a whole different story. We know that. We know what chemo does to the immune system. But they started treating it. They tested. They said they did have a fungal infection. They started treating them for the fungal infection. And in the process of doing that, their scans are showing up different. Like the white that they thought was cancer is going away. So whether or not, I think cancer is a fungus. Maybe it just shows up on a scan like a fungus. I don't know. I can't really tell you what the deal is. And I can't say that that's an across the board thing. I would never. And just in case anybody tries to soundbite me and say, she said, I'm just going to say it again. I would never try to tell people that cancer is not real. I would never try to tell people that they don't have it. But I would, and now confidently do say, hey, go get one more. I mean, if they've never had a second opinion, I say, go get a second opinion first. Make sure that that's what you have before they literally rip your immune system from you. Also, in one of the cases, I'm trying to decide if I'm supposed to tell it or not. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna scoot on past that. So I want to ask you a question. Hang on, I've got something over here that's bugging me, not bugging me in the chat, but I want to read something really quick. Yeah, okay, I'm responding to Don. He said the very first opportunity meeting that they went to, I was in Ardmore with Jetty and I, and on the way home, Greg said, I want to go the Lori and Jetty route. Did I remember him telling me this? Yes, absolutely. I remember it, and we've talked about it since then too. I think he was talking about the way we work the business together, and I think he was talking about, structure, the way we structured it and all that kind of stuff. And I know that your team has very much taken an all-inclusive approach to health, besides not just focusing on weight loss. And I mean, pretty much followed our lead on that. And I will also say that there's a lot of stability found. It might be the slower road, and I've never really been like fond of anything that's slow to take off. It's like, get her done, you know. But so it's not like my favorite thing to think of it, well, this may be the slower way to build it. But I will tell you, in a situation like we're in right now, if the majority of your team is built on weight loss, the people who normally get their products every month might not be as excited to get their products in right now, and they may have turned off their subscription order, and they may have all of these things to where your business might not be flourishing in a time when there's a lot of unknown going on, right? But I can say with full confidence, if your business structure, your business model was built on helping people keep their immune system healthy, right now it couldn't be literally couldn't be a smarter time for you to really, really focus in on your message about the immune system and immune health. Also, if you had wins earlier, like in your career, I feel like I'm supposed to tell you to revisit those. Like, pick one a day. Go back and read an old message from someone who thanked you. One a day for however long the rest of this quarantine lasts. Read stories from people whose lives were completely changed because of your bravery, because of your courage, because of your willingness to do something that's out of the ordinary. Did you know almost everybody that has ordinary jobs right now is not working? It's very few industries that are considered essential right now. And a lot of your ordinary jobs, people are not working, and there are big fat question marks as to whether life can continue on down the same road based on how the industry that they're in, or the particular company that they're with, or the particular school system that they're with, or the particular hospital that they work for. Did you know, you would think healthcare would be a really steady business to be in right now? But I actually happen to know lots of nurses that are getting laid off right now, because if you hadn't figured out that this pandemic is not what this really is about, then surprise, that's not what this is really about. And so where they're saying, I literally watched a video the other day where they were showing a whole line of people standing in line to get testing, and there was a tent in the background and all this stuff, and someone recorded it from over the side. So the news anchor is doing an interview or a segment in front of, there's a hospital, and out in front of the hospital is a tent, and then there's like a movie theater, like roped off line, and or like theme park, like that, roped off like that. And there are people, but the person who filmed it from before it started. They filmed the people coming in and setting it up. They filmed the people coming in, and they filmed the news people directing these people where to stand, because they're actors, they're not real. They filmed the whole footage of the person saying, here we are, such and such hospital, it's war zone out here, it's ground zeros, people being tested. There's not nearly enough tests. What are we going to do? Then they filmed the whole crew taking down the tent, taking down the amusement park line, and the people leaving, because it was all staged. 100% staged. And I was like, why are they what is the agenda here? There's obviously an agenda, right? Well, I can tell you what's not going on in that hospital, and that hospital is not a ground zero. It is not a war zone. No one in there has COVID, and they are trying to inflate the numbers. Probably, if I had to guess, they're probably tagging people as COVID, because the government is paying federal an extensive amount of money. When I'm saying extensive, Jetty read an article the other day that said you get like 19,000 for a COVID diagnosis, and an additional 39, and I may have those backwards, it might have been 39 and an additional 19. But if they had to be put on a vent, It was an additional, so a total of like almost 60 grand if someone comes in and they actually are having a heart attack, or if they actually are anything, even if they actually had the flu. But if they can tag them, and I saw an interview with a nurse the other day basically saying, went off shift the other night and I came back in, and the patients that the previous night had died, and I was there and I knew what they had died from. She said, I came in and all their charts were changed to COVID. She said, I was started asking questions. They were like, don't ask, don't ask. And I was like, okay, so obviously there's fudging going on to enhance the panic of whatever. There's an agenda here. Now, the reason I'm sharing that with you right now, because this whole video is not about COVID. This video is about the industries that you would think would even be safeguarded right now are not, because this is not really a healthcare crisis. I would say that it's really important right now, if you ever want to get back to normal life, for you to have a healthy immune system. So our industry is still very relevant, probably more relevant than it's ever been in my whole career. Because I believe, and watch me prophesy as I say this, that the healthcare industry model of Western medicine is about to turn around and show us its ugly backside. Like, I believe we're about to see so much truth, and we're going to be disgusted by the truth of how it has been operated by organizations. We know when we've been faced with the compliance police by just simply telling the truth. We know that there's an underbelly that's not pretty to look at, right? We know that there's something that drives, well, it's a dollar sign. A dollar sign drives what they will allow you to speak about and call truth. So I'm sharing that with you guys tonight because I believe if there was ever a good time to get into holistic health, naturopathic health, it's right now. And the reason I say that is because the model, well, first of all, hospitals right and left are filing bankruptcy. You can look it up, go look and see if there are hospitals right now filing bankruptcy because they're not able to do all of their elective is the word I'm looking for, all of their elective procedures right now. And so without elective procedures, which would be like a multitude of things. So it's basically non-emergency procedures. Without them being able to do that and then like charge off on insurance and make their whatever they're making from your insurance company, right? The amount that's coming in and paying off all the people, without that being able to happen right now, they're going belly up. Now, I'm not trying to scare, if anybody's in healthcare industry, I'm not trying to scare you. May God certainly protect you. But I'm saying, I don't think that any industries right now are as safe as the one that we are in. I hope I don't have to eat those words, but I truly believe that what I'm telling you is the truth. And I believe that if you've never been passionate about this, or you've been passionate about it and your reasons fail you, I'm not going to say they're the wrong reasons, but if your reasons are not strong and you kind of like what my mom and my great grandma would say, half-ass, if you half-ass it, and it's because I would say that you need to go revisit why you started it in the first place. And if your reasons fail you, you need to re-examine your reasons and come up with a new mission statement. Watch Jerry Maguire. Something, people, something. Because it's time. I read a thing the other day on the atmosphere shifting Zoom. I think I should read it again really quick. This is something I wrote in 2014. And the other day someone shared it. And it was like I wrote it for what's going on right now. It was one of those, I remember there were times, especially back around 2014, 15, that I would take off writing something. And it's like my fingers would take over. And then I would look back down and read it and be like, oh, mercy me. And I'd just post it. this was one of those times. I reshared it. I found the person who had tagged me in it, they must have gone looking for it themselves because they found a post of mine from 2014. They copied and pasted the post. And then they said, Lori, do you remember writing this? Rather than sharing the post. So that made me need to go actually find it because I wanted to share it because I wanted people to see the date on it because the relevance of it right now was like, whoa, compared to the fact that I wrote it in 2014. So how I found it is I typed my own name, my Lori Word Harrison full name in the search bar, and I typed in the word revolution because that was one of the words written in the post. And I thought that word would pull up only that post because, I mean, how many times a day do you use the word revolution, right? Well, I pulled up multiple posts where I used the word revolution, but I'm only going to read one of them to you tonight, and then we will pray. We'll probably let you ask questions if you have any, and then we will pray, but I want to end on this, okay? This is what I wrote when I reposted it. I just wrote, doing a little rewind, if you will, after someone tagged me in this that I wrote a few years ago. While looking for the original post, I used the word revolution in the search bar with my name. Turns out I use that word more often than I realized. I'll post other examples in the comments. Hashtag revolution. Today is 245 years after 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. That was on Sunday that I posted that. The original post is from October of 2014. There's a revolution inside of you, a revolution that will change the way the world views itself, the way the world operates and what it believes. Dig inside yourself. It was put there before you were born. That little something that always knew that important things would happen and that you would be the mixer, the pot stirrer, making people bounce off themselves, making them actually think. Think. Don't just absorb what is poured. Actually think. To think, you have to wake up. Sorry, I'm admitting someone else. To think, you have to actually wake up. The alarm is going off. Wake up. Think, then speak. Remind the others. Remember. Others. Hey, others, do you remember? Remember before we were born? Remember, do you hear the alarm? Eek, eek, eek. Hear it? It tells us it's time to wake up. What? You say you've been sleeping this whole time? The rat race is actually the same as sleeping? Arms in front of you like Frankenstein. Wake up. Surely you hear it. If you don't, trust me, I can hear it. It's calling me and telling me to call you. Revolution. When the world turns inside out and the guts are exposed and everything can be seen through eyes that know truth. Don't be the last of the brainwashed. Don't wait. The revolution will happen with or without, but let it be with. Let it be with. Deepest regards, the red-headed pot stirrer. Okay. Okay. On the atmosphere shift Zoom the other night, I didn't read this other one that I'm about to read to you. And I remember I thought of it. I thought, oh, I need to read the other one there where I wrote revolution. And then I remembered, oh yeah, this is not all just Plexus people. Probably not appropriate. Okay, here we go. All right. To my man. The sleeping giant, owning your own life, being the main influence in your kids' lives, working together towards a common goal, freeing yourself from the burdens and pressures of the rat race, from the burdens of comparison. Come home, plant a garden with me, start a revolution with me. The kids are home too. No one else's kids have a daily influence in our kids' lives. Let's cook some lunch. Let's go to lunch. We'll learn about something amazing today. We'll answer to only us. Be different. Normal is boring. Normal is broke. Help me change people's lives. If people think we're crazy, we know who the joke is truly on. That line from the movie Family Man, it's us now. Let's teach what matters. Let's show love like others don't have time to. Things all flip. No one thinks we're crazy anymore. The questions they ask, those questions mean teach me. Let's raise rabbits. Let's treat everyone with respect. Let's slow down. Why were we in such a hurry before? Let's work hard together, then snuggle on the couch together. Let's trailblaze. Let's start a revolution, and even if no one follows our lead, at least we will be free. We will be free. And I'm not going to read this other one, but I am going to show you the funny, well, I think I am. There's a picture with one of these. It's this one. This is one of my mottos. I am under no obligation to make sense to you. Jetty said he loves that one. Me too. It is the basic definition of when your whole life every day looks like when the rest of the world is quarantined. Only you have the freedom to go on a date if you want to. But you're home all day long, making decisions for the people in your house. No one else is raising your kids. No one else is schooling your kids unless you want them to. That's up to you, right? No one else is, you're not reliant on, specifically, you're not relying on a questionable agency to make sure your bills are paid. That is huge to me because that's what I'm seeing right now is people are going, I just don't know if this is going to come through for me. I don't know if this is going to happen. And I don't know if that is going to happen. And what if my job does this because of this agency and then this and this? And then what if insurance is pulled out from underneath us? What if the banks go under? What if it's like, no. Basically, all of those, all the things, all the boxes that you can check are different when you are the ultimate decision maker in what your future looks like. Now, I don't talk real openly about this stuff very often, probably not nearly enough. I'm talking about it openly because maybe this is the group that I went in like a rookie and said, hey, has anybody thought about trying to treat fungus? Trying to treat it for fungus instead of a little girl's kneecaps who are swelled up like this and they're calling it juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. Maybe tonight you guys are the metaphor for that group, and I walked in and I stumbled in and said some crazy things and I dragged one of you out with me. You're already ambassadors. I don't need you to join. I don't need your $39.95. All I need, actually, I don't need it. But maybe you need a switch to flip on inside of you that goes, goodness gracious, I hadn't thought about the fact that my livelihood depends on these sketchy agencies that may be about to go belly up, or a healthcare system that's rigged to kill people, if we're being honest. I'm not saying that the people, the individuals running it are rigged to kill people, but let's be honest, the death toll for March, COVID included, the entire death toll for March was down 63%. In the middle of a pandemic, I'm going to reword it probably 3 or 4 different ways. In the middle of a deadly, quote, pandemic, we had 63% less death last month than what was projected from the year before. Can somebody help me figure that out? If everything's a war zone, and if you're wondering my source, The CDC is who told me that. You can go look at their chart. I put my chart on their wall. I put their chart on my wall. People are like, that's crazy. What's your source? And I'm like, the CDC. Here it is. Here's the link. You can go look up the chart yourself. The number they projected of deaths for March, based on last March, was down. It was only like 30% of the people. 30% of the deaths, not 30% of the COVID deaths. It's not like, oh, phew, we missed it. We didn't get there were only 30%. It was all deaths. Now, why would that be? Does anybody care to speculate? Hospitals are closed. And abortion is considered alternative right now, or it's considered, what do you call it? What's the word I said earlier? It's considered non-necessary right now. So gallbladder removal, hysterectomies, and all the other ways in which people get accidental infections and die. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fewer ERs. There's not as much in the ER. Although I can say car accident, I can say that I don't think that 60%, 63% of the death rate is ER related. Based on the fact that the size of an ER in comparison to the whole size of a hospital is the tiniest little bit. So we know that it's not the ER. It's not only the ER. There's not as many accidents. So again, I say, and if you're on this call and if it's never crossed your mind that healthcare is rigged, you may have to wait a few months to see when the underbelly shows itself. You may have to wait a few months to see how rigged it actually is. Like if you've never gone, gosh, my copay was only $300, but they charged my insurance company $24,000. What in the heck is that? Little, like minor scrape bruises type things. And people are like, phew, I'm glad I didn't have to pay all that. My insurance company did. Come on. I'm just saying, I'm not saying the people are all crooked. I'm saying the system is crooked and it's about to be exposed. Trump already took down the World Health Organization, which was one of the biggest problems. And I'm sorry, I apologize if you don't agree with that. If you do some research, you would change your mind. I'll just put it like that. Okay. I'm reading comments really quick. I usually don't get this geared up on a call, usually a lot more laid back. But as I watch the world around us, to use a phrase from 2014, as I watch the world turn its guts inside out and expose itself to the truth, the sunlight of truth, basically, I think more and more, I mean, how many aha moments have you had since the pandemic started? Like, gosh, I spent a lot of money on crap. TJ Maxx, the Dollar Tree, whatever it is, the junk. I have a very close person in my life who hasn't been paid in weeks, and her checking account is fuller than it's ever been because of her spending habits. She's stuck at home. She's like, she told me, I just realized that I spend however much money I make. And if I came home and started watching my kids instead of going to my job, I'd break even because of daycare, hair care, non-essential care, Hobby Lobby care, TJ Maxx care, all the stuff, right? Same, and I'm not making an accusation. I think it's true for all of us. We started cooking. If the restaurants aren't serving, I mean, some of you may not be cooking, but if you start cooking more, start paying attention to what you're doing more. Am I the only person who's having this aha? I'm not saying that all of your income is like the person who I was just talking about. I'm not saying that your checking account is fuller, but have you figured out how to whittle? Have you figured out money that you were spending on things that didn't matter? And may you not waste those ahas when this is all over with and life can go back to as normal as you allow it to go back to for your own family. And also, my prayer is that you redefine normal. Like, in all the ways that you take 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. When I don't know how many of you are sitting home all day like I am right now, but if you take 20 minutes a day to reach out to people and invite them to our Beauty Inside and Out group, 20 minutes. If you can watch the press conference, that's what I think, or if you can watch Fox News in the morning, or if you can play around on Facebook, you can reach out. You can be told no a lot, right? You might get some yeses. I may have been like too forward on all of this because I'm getting almost no comments. And I'm okay with that too, because lots of times you'll sleep on it. I just thicked y'all with what I did have in my hair earlier. Lots of times you might sleep on it and figure out later that I was right about what I'm saying. Okay. I know we have some prayer specific. Okay. In-person convention has been officially canceled. It's going to be virtual only. This just in. I'm just now seeing Jetty texted me and someone else said it in the chat earlier. Karen, I thought. Okay. So that's one announcement. One other thing is I want to do another event soon in our Beauty Inside and Out group. Got hot. The more honest I got, the hotter I got. If you guys are down for an event, I would love for some feedback. Like while I pray, if you think of a particular topic or something you'd like me to focus on, I would love for you guys to give me your input, because here's what happened. If we do a rewind really quick, our last event, I put a lot of effort into it. Admittedly, it's during a quarantine, so I get the weirdness. I put a lot of effort into it. I tagged a lot of people. I signed up 3. And other than that, like Jenny was trying to give away the prizes the other day, and he's like, yeah, nobody's answering the questions. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I went in there, but it's mostly it's just ambassadors answer the questions, like they're guests. And I also, it's easy for me to monitor. It's easy for me to monitor how many people are getting added to the group because I'm an admin. And so it's like I'm having, just like what I have to do on here, I'm like approving. Sometimes we do an event and people add, sometimes I will sit there the moment it's starting and approve 75 people. And sometimes I'm the only one recruiting people in the group. I'm okay with that. Although the only reason I'm saying all of this, like tonight has been a lot about me and my Plexus journey, right? It's like one testimony after another. But I feel like if I'm not completely transparent and completely honest, by the way, speaking of completely transparent and honest, I had a conversation with another diamond yesterday, one that I really never have a chance to talk to. And she'd had a dream. And I'm not going to go into all that. That's her business. But she had a dream about me, and she was sharing it with me. And she's like, do you actually do that? She's talking about healing stuff. Somehow she didn't know that I did. And I was like, I do. And I didn't even want to confess it to her because I don't know how she feels about all of that. So whatever. But in the middle of talking to her, she told me, I'm sharing this all with you because God called me into fullness this year. Fullness. I was like, that's really interesting because as I have shared with my family and anybody who stops to listen, God told me this year, like I had a dream. The dream didn't make a lot of sense, but then I feel like God began to reveal things to me over the few days after that I had to be honest with people even when it was hard for me. And that particular thing is probably the hardest thing God has ever told me to do. Now, I'm not saying that it would be hard for everybody. Some of you are born like that. Some of you are like, girl, that's a terrible idea, or that's awful, or whatever. Like, some of you are born and that's the way you do life, and power to you. However, I avoid controversy in the past. I avoid confrontation. I avoid controversy with everything that's in me. But God told me, he's like, go out in truth. Show the world like who you are, even the not so great stuff, right? And be honest with everyone all the way, not honest. And then, because I'm always honest with people, but sometimes I'll be honest with omission, like leave something out that they don't want to hear. And so I told Jetty last night, I said, it's really weird because I agreed that I would do that. And I told him, I said, I literally feel a catch in my throat if I'm about to go to my old way of doing things, where I'd be like, oh yeah, and glaze something over. And I literally will feel something like the catch in my throat. And it will stay that way if I stay on that path until I come back over and I start just saying, well, here's the honest truth. This is the way I see it. This is the way I think you should handle it. It's only the way I see it. I can only tell you my truth from my perspective of what you're asking me about. Or like sometimes my husband's on the other end of my truth. He loves it. I'm an avoider of confrontation by nature for 20 years, married to the same man. And so whatever's going on, I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, yeah. Until now. And now I'm like, well, actually, babe, have I used a lot of well actuallys? Speaking of getting crickets. Okay. Now he's in there. He's talking to me. I just can't understand what he's saying. Okay. Here we go. I'm really, really ready. I thought about watching a Monday Motivation, and you are more than welcome to watch one. I have not even had a chance to watch the one we would have watched tonight, but God put it on my heart. It was like a theme, and I think you can follow my theme. My theme was basically, it started with the whole getting the message from Becky about her son, the lady looking for the comfort zone, get out of your comfort zone YouTube video, and then trying to figure out the lady, the girl's name, whose daughter was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, all that. And I was like, obviously this is a theme here. God is wanting me to share basically some absolute God glory stories to inspire you, to empower you into belief in case you've gone sleepy on your business. Just in case. I'm not saying you have, but in case you have. And maybe I heard something today. One last thing. I heard someone say, I've watched so many videos, but someone basically say, they were talking about inspiration and talking about sometimes you have to go backwards and find your inspiration again. And I wish I could think what video that was because it was really good. But basically they were talking about how sometimes if something inspired you and along the way it's fizzled, sometimes you have to go backwards and find that again. And because I will tell you what is evident to people, whether you know it or not. And that is, people can tell when you're phoning it in. When you're like, oh yeah, I gotta post on Facebook about my business, or I gotta whatever. If the enthusiasm is gone, people can see that. People smell it. And you know it. You feel it when you're talking to people. So if we are going to do another event, we may not do, I'm feeling that maybe this needs to settle in all your hearts for a few days, and maybe someone will speak up and say, I heard you. That resonated with me. Will you do an event? And until then, I'm not going to schedule one. Okay. I'm going to keep reaching out to the people I reach out to on the regular. The same kind of stuff I do, like using a dough app, all of the stuff that implies. I'm still going to do that because the reason my funnel was full and the reason I signed up 3 people is because of my consistency. There are very few things in this life that I'm absolutely consistent with. I wash my face and brush my teeth. I take my Plexus products. I drink lots of water, and I do what I can loosely call the dough app. You see what I'm saying? Like whatever your version of that is. Those are some things those are some seemingly mundane tasks that I'm very consistent with. And I pray that you become more consistent in your business so that your funnel will be full. Right now, I'm going to start this off. We're going to pray for, wait a minute. Someone asked me for prayer right before for a family member. Am I okay to pray that out loud? Pray for them? Okay. I don't want to just take off. I won't go into specifics. I'm just going to lift up prayer. It's on your wall, isn't it? Okay. I didn't want to be like talking out of place, so. Thank you, Christina. I've felt like multiple times that I've stepped over the line, but God is like, just say it. So I am. Thank you. I have never in my life felt crazier, not tonight, but during this quarantine, yet felt so well received by people who have shocked me. I can't even get over it. Like even the message I was telling you guys about yesterday, don't talk to her very much. And she was just like, talky. People resonate with you when you're living in your truth. And I didn't even really realize that until January. I've always had people resonate with me. Like I would say I even tricked my husband into marrying me, not on purpose, but I would say honestly, truthfully, I was totally runaway bride. I was like, how do you like your French fries? Me too. And he's like, I don't like crunchy peanut butter. And I'm like, me either. He's like, you put ketchup in the refrigerator. And I'm like, okay, yes, absolutely. All the things. None of that is still true. Never was true for me. And now he's learning, right? He's getting to know me for real. How did I keep that up for 20 years? Some of it I didn't keep it up, right? Oh, thank you guys for the feedback. It's very helpful. So God, right now, tonight, I just pray that all of you would step into the fullness of the truth of who you are, and that you would just glow. Somebody sent me a thing the other night that was a picture of someone they were showing they hadn't gotten in the bath yet, but it was a picture of glow sticks in the bathtub. And I was like, I love to take baths. I don't know why. I've never thought of something fun like that. It's like, instead of candles, it was like glow sticks in the bathtub. And I was like, may the light shine like a glow stick in a bathtub. May the light of God come out of you that way. That's the visual I got when I was about to say, may you glow from the inside. And may it be God's truth that shines out of you. God, anybody who is on here tonight who is struggling with health, or who has a family member, a loved one who is struggling with health, God, right now, in Jesus' mighty name, we cast out the spirit of trauma in Jesus' name. And we call them into wholeness, into fullness, into the perfect alignment for your purpose over their life, God. May the truth of your healing, here's the thing, I believe that healing is always there. Lurking is a weird word, but it's there. So may they be a recipient. Sometimes there is some sort of offense, like maybe you're a little offended at the Lord or something like that. And right now I just cast that down too. And I say, may you come into receiver mode. May your family members, loved ones come into receiver mode right now. And God, right now, I don't know I don't know this. And I feel like I'm supposed to say this even though I don't know this. I don't know what's the accurate whole tone or frequency or over the liver, for example. But I don't have to know that. God, I call the perfect frequency over a healthy liver, over Dawn's sister. It's liver, right? Kidney, liver. Okay, I've got another person I'm praying for right now about kidney, so I just making sure. Okay. Each organ in our body resonates at a different frequency, and one that's not healthy resonates at the wrong frequency. That's why I'm saying, God, by your Holy Spirit, I have a friend who is herbal in all the things that she does. She treats everything naturally. And she's like, and I don't even buy most of them. She's talking about like detox cleanses, parasite cleanses. She goes, I don't even buy most of them. I just say, God, in Jesus' name, I dose my liver, my kidneys, whatever, with 2 times per day of this particular herb that I'm out of or that I'm whatever. God, right now, in Jesus' name, I come into agreement with what that would do because I know what that does. You can call that crazy. I don't even care if you call that crazy, but I believe. She's like, it works. It works every single time. So I call into divine alignment the right flow, healing flow and energy over every organ in question here, over every bodily system in question, because I'm feeling like a lymphatic connection to it, because I'm feeling like pressure in my lymph. So right now, in Jesus' name, I call the lymphatic system into perfect alignment. Maybe we should send her a video of how to do a lymphatic massage. I call hormones into divine alignment. Right now, if any of this is for you, you need to reach up and grab it. Say, that's for me. I'm wanting it. It's mine. Even if you just say it to yourself. I call immune systems into perfect alignment with God's plan. And I call all in question into receiver mode. Let go of offense. When you've been offended, you are not in receiver mode if you stay there. I mean, I get it. You can be offended. But that's when people usually get sick, is if sometimes it leads down a road that leads down a road that leads down a road. But allowing God to come in there and heal the emotional wound is the answer. Hang on a second. I'm feeling. Infirmity. That's what I was like, ah! I curse the spirit of infirmity in Jesus' name. And I command it to go. Infirmity can bounce around. If you've ever had pain that goes from your shoulder to your hip, weird stuff like that. Right now, in Jesus' name, the spirit of infirmity has to go. And may whoever we're praying for, any of you that we're praying for tonight, just say, God, I'm open to receive. If you are standing in the gap for someone, just, I receive it for my sister. We receive it right now on behalf of Dawn's sister. One second. Judy Bishop, we call you right now into divine alignment from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. May every cell, even your DNA, come into alignment with God's purpose. May anything that has been seeping or putting too much pressure on the liver come into divine alignment right now. Like if there's another organ acting out of place and it's putting pressure on, putting an overload onto the liver. I have no idea what I'm saying, but that's what I'm feeling. Right now, we call that into divine alignment. God, I just speak over her emotional healing. God, a full deliverance. I call a full deliverance over her, completely free. God, that you would meet her right where she is, and that you would just like pour buckets of your love on her right now. Jesus, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you for your love. Oh, yeah, okay, Dawn, please do what you need to do. No problem, no problem. Thank you, Jesus. If I get anything more, I'll let you know on her. Jesus. God, we thank you for revelation knowledge. We magnify your name. We lift you up. God, we repent for anything that we've ever put in front of you. Anything that we've tried to use as a coping mechanism, Lord, that wasn't you. Anything that was survival skills that are not really in line with you, Lord. Even the runaway bride stuff I was joking about earlier, Lord, wash me clean. Bring me into the fullness of truth of what you have for me for the rest of this year and marching forward from there. I keep seeing a pool ball, like a pool table ball. It's different ones. It's not one particular one. It's not a particular number. Just every time I close my eyes, I see like a pool table set up with pool balls. Is that something that's like really important to somebody on here? Or is this just something random? Or somebody we've been praying for tonight? Is that important to somebody, one of them? Okay. Okay, I'll move on past that, and I'm going to keep praying for just 1 second. God, may the wind of your spirit be so refreshing over us. God, we call divine protection in each of our households. If you have not had a chance to listen to the atmosphere shifting Zoom, I highly recommend that you do that. It's in the supernatural healing group. And God, may you give us a brand new wind in our sails for anyone who desires it tonight over our businesses. God, I thank you for your guidance on these calls. And I thank you for the friendships that you have put in my life. I lift all this up in Jesus' mighty name. I want to thank you guys all for hopping on here tonight and taking the swift kick in the pants, as Linda calls it, for listening to the fullness of my truth. And you guys, please keep Judy, that's Dawn's sister. She was picked up by an ambulance earlier. I say that any diagnosis that was spoken over her, I cancel any diagnosis spoken over her. Any word curses, may they be fruitless. She was on here earlier. But that's a good question, though. I saw her for a minute, and then she was gone. I don't know. I may have a message. Let me see if I have a message from her. I don't know. We'll check on her after, surely. Okay, God bless everyone. Y'all have a great rest of your week. I'll probably be seeing most of you online, and I'll see you next week, if nothing else. Good night.